Hello everyone and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian if you're new around here, but if you're a returning subscriber, dadgum, you look good today. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments at the start of this video. And you do look freaking incredible today, if I don't say so for myself. But enough of the pleasantries. Let's dive into this build because I've been really excited to share this one specifically with you. Now, at the end of the day, this is a tank build with the Blunderbuss. This is the gunner tank that you've all probably been craving in New World. And as always, this build is just my personal opinion and what I enjoy in terms of my playstyle. Feel free to take this as a template, make it your own, make any changes that you obviously want to make, call it your own, and let me know what you change about it in the comments of this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. But as a part of these typical guides tend to go, I'll show you some stats. I'm going to show you my skill laid out, and then I'm going to show you kind of my gear, essentially going obviously full tank gear in this case, and then essentially going to kind of talk through my logic in terms of how the skills all kind of combo and work together. Now, let's go ahead and dive in. Not here to waste your time. Hopefully you get something good out of this video, and let's go ahead and begin. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to select my attributes first and foremost. Right now, currently rocking full constitution, dropping the rest of my points into strength, namely because both the sword and the blunderbuss scale off of strength. They also do scale off of dexterity for the sword and intelligence for the blunderbuss, but I'm not really going to put too much into that. You can obviously supplement maybe some food if you want to go ahead and play around with that, but I'm going for the 300 constitution because of the 20% duration to stun, slow, and root spells, 25% chance to chop down a tree in single swing. I don't think you care about the tree chopping thing, but I'm a consummate logger in this game, so lumberjack I guess is probably the more appropriate term. Let's go ahead and focus in on blunderbuss because that is the new weapon in the game, and then I'll show off what I've got sword and shield wise. Now for the blunderbuss, I'm actually rocking a little bit more containment than I am in this sense chaos. Otherwise I guess we could create a chaos tank. Sound off in the comments if you want me to make a chaos tank for you guys as well. But I've got net shot. This is a fire a large size projectile out of the blunderbuss, dealing 40% weapon damage, and the net is a large projectile that slows anyone hit it with it by 40% for 2.5 seconds. I got this enhanced with fast hands, reduces the cooldown by 20%. Then I have the net now inflicts 50% slow that degrades over the movement over 5 seconds, and then barbed shot here reduces the base damage to 5%, and now adds a damage over time of 35% additional weapon damage to the person for 3 seconds. I have claw shot, fully enhanced. Shoot forward a 4-pronged claw attached to the chain on the muzzle. This projectile will travel 14 meters and cannot pull you upwards more than 3 meters. If it connects to an enemy, it will deal 40% weapon damage and inflict root for 1 second before quickly pulling you towards them. The pull can be canceled by any other ability use or fire. This is enhanced by in and out. Upon usage, restore 8 stamina for 10 seconds. Then I've got combat readiness. Landing a pellet, even if blocked, lowers the cooldown of this ability by 2% each. And then mobile overload, successfully landing a claw shot will automatically grant you 1 loaded ammunition. If you currently have 2 loaded ammunition, this will exceed the max cap and grant a 3rd. And then essentially over here in the chaos tree, I've got splitting grenade, shoot a grenade out, and the blunderbuss that will bounce up to 4 times and detonate after 1.5 seconds. The splitting grenade can also be manually detonated by activating this ability at any time. Upon detonation, it will create 30 mini grenades that will disperse and explode 1 second after landing, dealing 85% weapon damage in a 3-meter area. Each successful grenade hit has the same target and deals 40% less base damage. Then you have soften, deals 25% increased damage to targets greater than 50% health. Delayed escape, this is the grenade hits, grants haste, increasing movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds. And then essentially incendiary burst, splitting grenade inflicts burn on hit, dealing 10% weapon damage per second for up to 10 seconds, and that can stack up to 3 times. So from a perk enhancement, I am taking ramp. This is reload, gives you a damage boost of 4% for 6 seconds. That can stack up to 4 times. I've got deep load. The last shot in your blunderbuss will deal 15% increased damage. I've got fortify aggression. Successful hit with 3 meters grant fortify, increasing damage absorption by 10% for 2 seconds. And unload. The next shot fired within 6 seconds after triggering an ability will have 9 pellets instead of 6. This effect can actually stack up to 2 times. From the chaos tree, I take future planning. Ability uses ability reduces all other ability cooldowns by 4% for their remaining time. Bite back, every pellet of the headshot reduces all cooldowns by 0.5%. And then finally on a roll, triggering an ability decreases all damage taken by 3% for 10 seconds, and that stacks up to 5 times. Now jumping over into Sword and Shield, again, really kind of focusing through on the tank and also a little bit on crowd control a bit. So let's go and focus on reverse stab. Stab that deals 175% weapon damage. Reverse stab now has grit applied to it, basically prevents you from being staggered for the incoming attacks. And then Tactician, on successful hit with reverse stab, all other sword cooldowns are reduced by 25%. I pair this with Shield Bash, deals 50% weapon damage and stuns foes in front of you for 2 seconds. This is Taunt Gem compatible, so this allows me to go ahead and build up that hate with the Carnelian Gem. Intimidating Bash, Shield Bash causes greatly increased threat and deals 100% more damage. And then finally, Concussive Blast, Shield Bash stuns duration by 1 second. Then I've got Defiant Stance. For 8 seconds, reduce incoming base damage from all attackers by 30%. This is also Taunt Gem compatible, thus kind of bringing in, again, trying to get that hate and that focus. Then it's supplemented with Final Countdown. If your health is above 50%, damage reduction is increased by 20%, and Restoration. When Defiant Stance ends, heal 15% of your max health. Then I've also got this boosted up with a couple of perks here. Empowering Stab. Successful heavy attacks grant you 30% in power for 5 seconds, basically increasing your damage. Achilles Heel. The final attack in your light attack chain inflicts a 20% slow for 2 seconds. Slow reduces the target's movement speed. Again, kind of focusing now on that stat in which we want to start talking about targets that are slowed. Opportunist. Deal 10% more damage to slowed foes. See that kind of pairing within that. And you also kind of then start to see how it pairs with the net shot as well. Then Sturdy Shield grants an additional 15% armor. Stamina damage is reduced by 15% when blocking a melee attack with a shield. I've got when you're blocking an attack, grant 10% Fortify for 5 seconds. That's reducing more damage. Elemental Resistance, reduce damage from all magical types, with 10%. Final Blow, the third attack in your light attack chain deals 15% more damage and causes more threat. I've got Recuperation, all incoming healing and regeneration increased by 10%. And Defensive Formation, while blocking, reduce damage to all allies within 2 meters by 30%. And so you'll see that applied to my character as well. So those are the skills you can kind of start to see how these impact. Also, I didn't say Claw Shot is Taunt Gem compatible. So by using this is also generating threat onto the target as well. So for my fellow tanks, just so you know, again, I am rocking the Sentry build. This is essentially going to give me very much a lot of constitution, a lot of life. That's obviously increasing my survivability. I'm enhancing this a little bit with some physical absorption wards. I also have some physical and magical or elemental absorption ward gems that I've applied. And I've decided to take a Tower Shield. Now, this is a heavy build. You're not going to be dodge rolling out of anything in this regards. But just note that there's a lot that you can kind of play around with and have fun with this. So find the right armor set that personally works for you and the people that you're playing with. But then you also see here that I am rocking Carnelian Gems. This is going to increase my taunting, generating more threat, especially off those abilities and the weapons themselves. So I mean, this is pretty simple. Like, we're not going to get into, obviously, like on the live servers we'll have obviously more various perks, so the gear themselves can start to be refined a little bit more, where you start to really strike at the perks, because you can see here Empowering Leaping Strike here is enhanced, but I don't need Empowering Leaping Strike because I'm using the Blunderbuss and the arm cannon, the claw in this case. So let's go ahead now talk about kind of my logic and kind of almost in a way my combo when it comes to playing the Blunderbuss and the Sword and Shield. All right, so here at its core, I like to open up with the Claw Shot, bringing me in for some hits, being able to drop like my different skills, swap over to my tank stance, stun, backstab to reduce those cooldowns that we just fired off. I'm gonna swap back over here for some AoE since I picked up another ad. Missed him. And easily swap back into my different abilities and swap between, I think I would say effortlessly between the Blunderbuss and the Sword and Shield. But obviously in this case, like, I'm showing it to you in terms of a, more single player solo experience. So my survivability, I think, is quite well. So I can also just kind of put this back on, keep my defenses up, swap back over here, close the gap. Put some damage out. Some AoE damage. Follow it back up with Sword and Shield. And unfortunately, I didn't get to finish him off in a cool way with the with the backstab. But ideally, you get the drift, right? Obviously, you can close the gap. You can get up close and personal, generate a lot of hate, have a lot of survivability. And I think that's what you want to go with a tank build. This is really good for me right now. Solo player out in the open world, doing various different dungeons and more. So again, hopefully you got something good out of this video. Thank you guys so much for your time and your attention. Hopefully, like I said, you got something good out of this video. I don't need to repeat it more than once, but I did, because that's what happens when you sit here and you're running and you're thinking and you're talking. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you have a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.